Hello, everyone. I hope you're excited about Monday like I am. Monday means fresh starts. Let's do this. Just like it says on the screen. Let's do this. We're going to just rock it out this week so that we can have another week under our belt. But it's Monday. It's go time, you guys. So let's make it. Let's do this. All right? I'm so excited. So excited that you are here with me as usual. Okay. Miss Parker, your speech teacher here at Mumford High School. Excuse me. All right. So an important thing that you all need to know for this week, just so you can be prepared, just so that you know you about to do this, you about to kill it, all right? We have a quiz this Thursday, October 22nd, 2020. This Thursday, October 22nd, 2020, we have a quiz, so make sure that you are ready, all right? We're about to go ahead, jump into the lecture for today, continuing off from where we left off this Friday, because I hope you had a wonderful weekend, okay? And we're ready to just get started, okay? And we are going to go ahead and jump right into it, you guys. All right, so here we are back to delivering your speech, okay? We kicked off this unit already on Friday, so I hope that you've taken notes and you are at the point where you are continuing your note-taking for this lecture. Again, it's coming from our text from chapter 9, which is in Schoology uploaded for you in your materials and your resources section. All right, so just to remember those things to think about, and remember that there are a few that we will not go over due to the method that we're using, but it is included in the text. All right, advantages of different delivery methods and the disadvantages of those delivery methods. Importance of non-verbal aspects of delivery, okay? And then the importance of volume, pitch, speaking rate, and voice quality. And then we're also having on our screen practice articulation and pronunciation. Guard against distractions or interruptions during delivery, which is also helpful when you are trying to handle a heckler. All right, so just to remind you, okay, we have 4 basic methods of speech delivery, which was manuscript and memorization. So manuscript is when you're writing the speech word for word, and memorization is when you are memorizing your speech word for word with no aids, okay? With that, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into the next method. That is extemporaneous method, okay? Now, the advantages of extemporaneous. Extemporaneous is when it sounds natural, like just a conversation that you're having someone one-on-one, okay? The speech sounds more like you are telling your audience something rather than reading or that you have packaged something for them. You are able to be more engaged with your audience, okay? So it's more authentic. You are able to connect with your audience more. It also provides, and I'm sorry about that typo, it provides the speaker the best opportunity to make use of positive and negative feedback from your audience. So you're able to really have the opportunity to read your audience. And sometimes if they have faces like this, that means you might need to clarify something, okay? And this method allows you to do that opposed to manuscript or memorization. Or if you have a crowd that's like this, I get that. Yes, I get that. That means they understand what you're saying and you are really doing a great job. And they're able to connect with you. As a speaker, you want to connect with your audience. That's very important, okay? A disadvantage is it's more difficult to deliver, especially if there are time constraints in place, because you can run out of time, you can fall short on time, and you want it to be just right. So extemporaneous is difficult in that aspect when delivering. Extemporaneous, typically you have an outline. So you don't have a full piece of paper written out word for word, but you may have key points. Okay, you might say, nutrition, and then cover some discussion on why nutrition is important, what is nutrition, how you become healthier with nutrition, but you just have that one bullet point. So outlines are typically used when it comes to extemporaneous method. Okay. The next one that we have here is impromptu method. Impromptu. This method is typically the most disliked out of people. Okay. Impromptu is when you are asked off the cuff, or you are being basically put on spot to speak. I know I do not like impromptu. Okay. But it happens. It happens often. And so you have to be prepared as much as possible, because you won't know, because it's impromptu. Okay. So some advantages. It's going to sound natural because you don't have anything prepared. You didn't have any background. You didn't have any time again to prepare. So it's going to sound natural. That's the only advantage. The disadvantage is the speaker has a tendency to sound unprepared, and most likely you're going to sound jumbled and awkward because you're just trying to get the words together. You're trying to figure out what you're going to say. You don't want to ramble on. You keep emphasizing and re-emphasizing and re-emphasizing and saying the same point over and over again because you just didn't have that opportunity to prepare. But most people can connect with people that are naturally connecting again and can have some level of knowledge to share. And remember, knowledge, speaking knowledgeably is one of those traits of an effective speaker. Okay. So now I'm going to take you to a video that is going to discuss the types of delivery: manuscript, memorization, impromptu, and extemporaneous. Please take notes.
In this video, we're going to look at the 4 different types of delivery. When you stand up to present in a classroom or in a professional setting, you have to decide how you're going to come across. We're going to look at the 4 different styles and look at the ups and the downs of each of them. Let's get into the details. Hello again, friends. Alex Lyon here. And if you've never subscribed to this channel, Communication Coach, it's here to help you increase your impact so you can lead the people around you to higher levels of excellence. Part of leadership is standing up and presenting. And when you stand up, you have to decide what your approach is going to be. So we're going to talk about the 4 types of delivery that you can choose from to deliver your next presentation. We're going to start with one of my least favorite, and we'll end on the 4th one with my favorite, the one I recommend. So first of all, reading is the first approach that you could take to delivering a presentation. I do not recommend reading your presentation word for word. However, this approach is pretty straightforward. You write out your entire presentation and you read it. Now, let me ask you this. Do you like it when you see a presenter and they're reading their presentation the whole time word for word? Chances are you don't enjoy it very much, and neither does anybody else. Now, there are certain situations where reading might help you and you might need to use it. If you're in an extremely formal situation like a graduation ceremony or you're giving a toast at a wedding, you might want to write that out word for word. But there are rare occasions where you'll be asked and expected to do this. Most commonly, you see people do it because they just want to fall back on something and know what they're going to say. So what they'll do is they'll write out their entire thing almost like a paper, and they'll just read their paper, or they'll put every single word on their PowerPoint and they'll turn and look at the PowerPoint the whole time and read that. And audiences generally don't respond well to this style because there's almost no engagement with the audience. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it can come in handy if you have a really formal situation and your presentation or your speech is very short. The next approach is memorizing. This is a little bit like reading, except that you practice it so much, you have literally memorized it word for word. So you're not tied to your paper. You can look up quite a bit, but every single word and every single phrase is set in place. This can also sound very wooden. There's a scene from a movie called Despicable Me where Gru's daughter is memorizing a poem, and she sounds pretty robotic.
Okay. She kisses my boo-boos. She braids my hair. We love your mothers everywhere.
Now, if you're memorizing a poem and it's really short, of course, you might want to get every word exactly right. But there are very few occasions, again, where you're going to be asked to memorize something because it sounds stiff and it sounds like there's no humanity in it, there's no emotion, there's no connection with your listeners. The other approach that you might take is impromptu. That's the third style or type of delivery. Impromptu is where you are given very little time to prepare and you use almost no notes, very limited notes. There are impromptu competitions at the college level in the college speaking circuit, for example, where people will compete in this impromptu category. They're given a little quotation and about 2 minutes to sketch out just a few points, and then they're expected to speak for about 5 to 7 minutes. This is actually a skill that I believe is worth developing. If your public speaking teacher or anybody you know is trying to get you to speak more impromptu, I suggest you lean into this and practice as much as you can. Very frequently, this is useful in professional settings where someone will just turn to you and say at a meeting, hey, Aaron, in a couple of minutes, I would love to hear an update about how things are going in your department. And very quickly, Aaron is going to take her pencil and start jotting down a couple of notes, and then the leader calls back on that person, and then they're expected to talk for a couple of minutes about how things are going. So an impromptu approach is a great way to practice presenting. You won't be expected to do it all that often, but it is a skill that'll come in handy. And the fourth type or approach to delivery is extemporaneous, and this is my favorite. This is where the speaker speaks from an outline that's researched and put together. They have practiced, and then they deliver in a conversational style. So when you're practicing extemporaneously behind the scenes, you're not trying to say it exactly the same every single time you go through it. You're using a variety of ways to express the same ideas, but then when you finally deliver it, you've practiced it so much in so many slightly different ways that you can just have a structured conversation with your listeners. And one of the great benefits of this is that when you're looking up, because you're not on your notes, you can connect with people with eye contact, you can adapt to their nonverbals, and this is a really scalable skill. This is a skill that you can take into professional settings, into the community. You can continue to do it in academic settings. Extemporaneous speaking is really the main way that you will be expected to speak in the future. In fact, for the rest of your life, anytime you get up, you should go to, as your first option, if you can, an extemporaneous approach. So question of the day, what's your favorite approach? What's your go-to approach to delivery style? I don't know that it's necessarily one that you should be doing, but what do you fall back on? What's your favorite one to use? I would love to hear your comments in that section below. So thanks, God bless, and I will see you in the next video.
All right. Okay, so there it is for you all. Okay, that wraps up our lecture for today. We will be moving on to discuss the end of our lecture tomorrow. Okay, we will do that tomorrow. So I hope you have a great day. There is an assessment. Okay, there is a quick assignment in regard to this particular lecture in Schoology. Please complete, and I want you to have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.